the morning with coffee in your cup. Time to hang out with friends and chat it up. Bring a smile and good luck. Hit that like button and let's chat it up. Good times start with us, you and me. Good morning, welcome to the morning coffee show. Start the morning with coffee in your cup. Time to hang out with friends and chat it up. Bring a smile and good luck. Hit that like button and let's chat it up. Good times start with us, you and me. Good morning, welcome to the morning coffee show. Let's talk from in the shell and share good vibes and good times. Good friends and trends that bend the senses. Let's get a bit senseless. Welcome to the morning coffee show, where we bring good vibes and good times. Welcome to the morning coffee show with super fast Tortoise. Welcome to the morning coffee show, where we have the flow. Good vibes from head to toe. Let the happiness take you in.
Hey! Welcome to Super Fast Tortoise, everybody. We got a good roster of people here today. We got Hillbilly, Kid Dude, TCG Dude, not to be confused between dudes, but we got Cowboy Dan. What's up?
What's up? Good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Hope all is well.
All is well. What's up, morning coffee people? That's right. Got Cane Checker in chat. Cane Checker, hello.
Hey, Checker, what's up?
Cane Shaker.
Cane Checker. We got
Oh.
Lone Wolf. Hey, check it out. You know, just people chilling chat, and we're just getting into the motion of things. We're having lots of conversation, lots of in-depth conversation in the background, and just going nuts. We were talking about physical media, like, you know, physical media dying in the modern age. And there's people like me who are going to be the last to clinge onto the physical media of collecting CDs and stuff like that. It was kind of a sad story.
Yep.
I mean, Sony giving up DVDs, physical media, that's going to kill me, man.
But it happened before, you know, after the 80s and early 90s, it happened before. So, never know.
All right. We'll see. Maybe it'll be like Minority Report and those other movies that are futuristic where everything's digital, floating screens or floating images in front of you can interact with. Floating start kind of feature. Who knows?
It all depends. Yeah.
So, if I may, the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest, is known for being a little hipster. You know, the Seattleites like to be trendy. And I'll tell you what, man, records and CDs and DVDs are making a comeback there. So I don't know if it's the same.
They are
elsewhere.
making a comeback amongst the hipsters, but unfortunately not a big enough comeback to attract major corporations who print those in major form, and definitely not big enough of a comeback to encourage companies like Disney, Sony, and Warner Brothers to continue their physical media production. Especially since Sony has been the first and Disney the second to say that they're officially completely eliminating physical media from their stuff. So I don't know. When major corporations like Disney and Sony, the two biggest companies that are known to make physical media and make most of the media in the world, let alone the country, say they're no longer going to produce it, I don't see that as a thing. Maybe it might make a comeback in small amounts, but not enough to be a major world bringer.
No, but there's a lot of independents that are making music, you know, not like on the scale of a Sony and Disney, but you know, there's a lot of independents that are making it. You know, the price for a vinyl record brand new is ridiculous. You know, you can buy, I mean, I tell all the people I sell to, I say, why buy brand new when you can buy a decent, original version? I mean, I'm selling records on eBay for nothing because I want to get rid of them for one thing. You know, You know, and think about it, the records I'm selling are over 50 years old, some of them,
Wow.
but they're in good shape.
Mhm.
You know,
That's crazy.
But that's vintage. People are going to buy vintage all day long.
yeah,
Pe-
but they are buying vintage. You're buying
that's yeah.
Zeppelin,
That's what
you're
I'm saying is you're buying vintage all day long. People buy vintage. Those are your collectors. They absolutely want the vintage.
right.
But unfortunately, the people who are spending their money are not wanting the clutter. They don't want all the physical media. They don't want
Right.
all this other stuff. I remember back, like I mentioned it off stage, but remember back in the VHS days when you had walls of VHS cassettes and you had to have these big old huge library shelves just
Yeah.
to have your VHS cassettes. People don't want that anymore, and unfortunately, they stopped buying.
Right.
And that's why DVD became popular. But then it's still cluttered, and then the DVDs were easier damage, and then they kept on trying other things from
Well,
from VHS to Laserdisc to DVD. They even went down to cartridges even died. Video game industry, no more physical media, period. I mean, go and get yourself a Sony PlayStation game. You open up that plastic case and it's got a piece of paper in it that says a code.
That's
Yeah.
right.
They're
They're doing that even more so
selling.
now.
Yeah, they just the companies that produce it. It doesn't matter who wants to buy it. In the long run, the companies that produce it are saying no.
yeah, well,
They can charge more money for nothing than they can for something.
well, I get it.
Yep.
Because, it takes a lot of space to have that stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
if you just want to stream everything and you got everything on the cloud and or wherever you get it from, I mean, but it's not the same. I don't know. When you go to Spotify or you download or you stream, you hear the music, but you don't have the album cover to go over and get the history. Some albums have pages of about the group and everything. You don't have that. You just have the music, and maybe you get a picture. Now I don't know.
Right. I agree with you, QG dude, on that one. And streaming is just an audio experience only, but when you have an album, it's a tangible physical experience as well.
Yeah,
Right.
You're right. But the problem is the companies that own the media and the people who want to be able to have a physical copy. I'd prefer to have physical copies of all my media. I want that library on my wall where people look and just go, that's a cluttered mess of VHS cassettes. But at the same time, you're dealing with the major corporation that says, look, we're going to gouge you for every single cent. I mean, first of all, we're in a community that, particularly the Magic community, that is constantly complaining about the media, particularly the Hasbro or WotC or whoever you want to blame for charging overpriced rates for 8 cards and a piece of plastic.
Right.
8 pieces of cardboard in a plastic wrapper, and you're paying for that. And these now the DVD companies, Disney, Sony, these gaming companies. Now, if you see the trend over the last 15 years with your eyes open and you see this, physical media is gone. Physical media is dead, and it's not making a comeback for a long time for anybody other than hipsters who want and will pay $50 for a record that's not even made out of vinyl anymore.
All right, yeah, we'll see how well that does, because if there are people who want physical media, like after it's like vanished, there'll be an outcry, and that'd be interesting to see how that works. Because like when they shut down like a physical media, that shut down a large production in factories that could cost jobs, that could do things like that. That's just that sounds like a cynical thought process, but it's really the reality of it.
It is the reality, though. Cynicism or not, the reality is they're not making it anymore, and they're not going to. That's not cynicism. That is a fact.
Was this like real news that was dropped recently? Because I totally missed this one.
This is Sony's been talking about it for a long time, and then they finally officially announced it. They finally officially announced that they're no longer going to carry physical media.
Well,
it is very easily Googleable.
Yeah.
I mean, You know,
just because Yahoo isn't the main search engine anymore doesn't mean it isn't used, you know. CDs will still be around, just not in the same capacity.
Can I give you an update? Sony is ending production of recordable Blu-ray discs. This doesn't mean the end of Blu-ray as a whole, according to tech news websites. They are discontinuing production of blank Blu-ray discs for recording, as well as mini discs and DVD data.
Oh, son of a biscuit. Dude, yeah, and I've been talking about backing up my DVDs and everything recently. That means I got to start hoarding them.
Yup.
All right.
Look, I got tons of these. You know what these are?
Yeah.
These are blank.
Yeah.
DVDs. I got hundreds of these. Hundreds. You know.
You mean like this?
Yes.
Wow.
See, senor.
Bunch of those.
So yeah. Well, these are not Blu-rays. These are CDs for audio.
I don't have any Blu-rays because, you know.
Yeah, I don't have Blu-rays around either. I've just got some blank CDs and blank DVDs, and I think the DVDs hold a maximum of like 4 gigs, which in today's world doesn't hold a lot, you know? My Samsung phone, a 30-second, 1-minute video is like almost a gig because of the resolution.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just, you know, I'm old school. I'm really old. You know, I got 8-tracks. I got reel-to-reel. I got cassettes. I got almost 1,000 cassettes. I got almost 700 records. You know, so I'm just old school. I enjoy it, but that's what I grew up with. That's like my. You know, I tried to dump half my supply onto Superfast, but he couldn't get it back with him.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Well,
have we derailed the show?
No, everybody, it's time to get into the monologue of the show. The monologue is about MTG collectibles and reseller community. I'm going to touch on the reseller community. This is going to sound like there's some negatives in here, but I don't want to focus on the negatives. It's just, you know, some of the facts are the facts, and some of the things are changed and things are different. So let me read the monologue. Let's get through this, and we'll discuss what's going on. Hold on a second. Deep breath. Resellers, flippers, the secondary rogue markets has taken the collectible world by storm, not just in popularity, but it has been growing in large numbers, like the people selling and buying and refurbishing these items. What started as a revolution during the pandemic has simmered down a little for a couple years, but the collectibles market keeps on growing and selling, and people are buying. Thus, the demand is still there, and people are trying to alleviate their 9-to-5 jobs to have secondary or completely separate incomes. And this has caused some issues. It bred some scalpers, and that happens when you get like 100 people. Some people will get more greedy, and it's a part of the growth of the reseller community. Now, not all of it makes a competitive buying market, but some of it does. That has people buying up fresh product to force a higher price on brand new products, assuming and guessing the demand for a product. And the weird thing is, in a recession, people are still buying and the stuff, and people are still buying more. Now, but there are some good in the community. Those are looking for desired products that are harder to find from times. Like there's times I found some cool stuff that I have right here. Got that for a good deal, you know, in the secondary market. So not everything's all, you know, doom and gloom. And you find some cool stuff. They find stuff that you would normally not find in every day, but they find it and they sell it to you, and you're looking for it. There it is, right? Then, you know, they find these desired products from time to time. Before, in fact, if it weren't for people going out and finding some of this old junk at yard sales, flea markets, etc., I would not have some of the cool stuff I own today. There's a reality about what is a good thing for some, and some it's like a punishment for others who just can't do it. And that's just how it is. Now, how does this balance out? That's one of the things we'll discuss. We are no Robin Hoods in the second scenario. And in this capitalist society, you're going to make that sweet, sweet money. Where can Magic the Gathering get its ridiculous prices in the secondary market? Sometimes your LGS to find outside local game stores. And the LGS is trying to be competitive in this nature, and it's all confusing. It's all confusing. Where did it fail? Where did it do good? When did it collapse? Let's get into this, right? Sorry, that was a mess of a monologue. I had like all this text, and I had to read these tiny words. So, anyways, in the whole monologue, I want to talk about some of the good, some of the rough stuff, because you know what, reselling is not a bad thing. Going out, buying stuff, finding stuff to show to people, like old stuff, new stuff, it's not bad. I know people who've gone out and bought stuff from stores to resell because, you know, they made their 9-to-5 bread. You know, it's how they make the cheddar, you know. Yep. So I want to get your guys' views on this as well. What about Hillbilly?
Hey, I've never actually resold before, so this is out of my league right now.
Well, honesty is honesty, and I appreciate that. So, as a former reseller myself, and I will do flip some things on the side here and there when I have it. Like if I have something, I want to get rid of it, I know it's worth money, I'll flip it, right? The truth is, people want to get the value out of something as much as possible. Some people out there will get something and try to increase the value of it by more than what it should be, and sometimes people adjust the value to what they think it should be. Like, for example, out of the commander decks, out of Tarkir Dragonstorm, the Teamer Dragon deck had a banger commander for it. The one that comes into play, you reveal the top 8 cards of your library, put a dragon into play, and when it dies, the same. Like, I just recently got that card not too long ago, and it cost a pretty penny, like just for the card itself. And the commander deck, instead of being like the $50, $60, $70 it should have been, it was like $135 at the local game store and whatnot. And the only place I could I didn't find it, but was there, I guarantee it was there, and I don't know who picked it up. The only fair place I could find the price of it was at Walmart, you know. And yeah, like, you know, someone picked it up, they probably picked up a couple to buy one, play with one, and sell the other one. I don't know how it works, but you know, there's a level of intelligence that goes into this gig of reselling, and because I'm not going to put people down for buying this stuff, you know, but it's good. It's good, you know. There's a healthy market out there. Oh, Fernando Diaz, hello. Got to raise a price because it's not fun pulling a Prompto Surge foil after spending $80 on a pack, right?
Yep.
That's rough. Is that the Final Fantasy collector's pack you spent $80 on? Yikes. Man, yeah, those prices for those surge foils have been flip-flopping all weekend. We can talk about that a little later.
Oh, that's part of the whole gig, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, with the release weekend.
Because, you know, a lot of people, a lot of resellers and scalpers and flippers, I'm putting them all together. They've been buying the product to sell it. You know,
yeah.
You know,
I was fortunate enough to pick up a collector's box at my LGS for about $560 actually out the door, and I am not opening that. No.
Ouch.
And so let's see here. Fernando Diaz says, "Luckily, I pulled a Tifa Surge and sold for $550. There you go.
Nice.
See, you don't feel too bad."
Yeah, that's pretty chill. Pretty chill. Yeah, because, like, you know, that's one of the things that's great about Magic and in the reselling community. Sometimes when you pull a pack like for $6, $7, and you pull like a $30 card, and you're like, well, I'm not going to use this. I can just turn this around, sell it, and get a couple more packs or something like that. You know, like, there's positives to the community. But anyways,
it's like the Family Guy meme. You know, there's a boat, honey, but there's a mystery box.
Yep.
No, but yeah, you were talking about resellers and scalpers, and I don't know, man. I do have experience reselling. I did just mention behind the scenes or backstage that I hosted a vendor table, which some people would consider that reselling. So I think that there needs to be a clear distinction between scalpers and resellers.
So let's make that clear distinction right now. Scalpers are people, to me, right, who purposely go out of the way to buy all of a certain product they can, so they can turn around and sell it directly for the demand at a higher price, where resellers pick up what they want and sell what they can, what they feel like, for more of a reasonable price. What would be your definition?
I'd say it's about the same. Yeah, somebody who like cleans out a shelf, and purposely or intentionally makes it unavailable for people locally in order to price gouge,
Yeah, I don't like scalpers because they're not into they're into make more money than what the product is worth.
Right.
But a reseller, he's just trying to make a little profit to get even. He's just going to get product A and sell product A for maybe 2-3% more than what it's worth, just to to cover his costs. But a scalper wants a 50% or 75%, and I think that's illegal. Scalps.
Technically, okay. So the technicality of scalping, it's how it's done, which crosses legal boundaries. Like, say for example, you go to a concert, all right, and you see this guy who bought a whole bunch of tickets and he's standing outside the concert to resell them. Now that guy is scalping illegally. There's different types of scalpers, and there are rules and laws for scalping. And technically, the technicality is these people who are quote unquote scalpers on the internet for Magic the Gathering cards, they're technically doing illegal scalping. It is legal, absolutely legal. No laws say they can't do it. Unlike city ordinances that say you can't stand outside the LGS after having bought those cards, like you can't stand outside your the venue that it's at, because once you start standing outside the venue, here's where the scalping laws come in. All right, the reason why scalping is considered illegal for some people is that aren't you taking part in illegal activity? It's because you're holding business on somebody else's ground without permission.
Right.
That is where the legalities of scalping is. This is why scalpers at a concert will get arrested for selling tickets. And a lot of times those scalpers are also selling fake product. And so really, you're not really talking about scalpers. You're just talking about resellers. You're talking about resellers in the long run. There's still resellers because they're still operating legally, and that is the legal divide between what a scalper is and a reseller.
Right.
Yeah, that's the point.
There is a legal divide. So people say scalpers. That's why I always laugh at all these people who are talking about the scalpers. I'm like, really? Are they turning around and are they selling the stuff illegally?
Right.
Then no, they're not.
I love to play devil's advocate, and just because somebody has some money, does it make it wrong for them to buy out a shelf? Right. Well, legally, no. You're right, Dan.
I'm sorry, but all these people who are like scalper this, scalper that, scalper this, are they standing outside your LGS selling either fake product or a product that they just bought from that LGS outside, and conducting business that will take away from your LGS? That is what a scalper does.
Well, if you want to get technical about conducting business without a permit, did you know that even a little girl's lemonade stand can be busted by police and they can be arrested?
I've seen stories.
Operation without a business license. Yeah. Operation without a business
license. Where's
your
permit? Where's your business license? Let's see your health certificate.
Really quick, I want to shout out Fox Enigma here. It's just frustrating having people to buy product and then immediately come out and be like, I'm putting this on eBay. Yeah, I've seen that happen. I've seen it happen, heard it happen, where people buy like not scalpers, but people like buy two of one thing. They're like, I'll buy one for myself and one to resell. I've seen that happen. Cane Shaker also says, but if a person buys all the packs at Walmart, shouldn't they have put a lot more packs there? For reals, they should have flooded that thing like crazy.
Yep.
All right.
But, I mean, you worked at Walmart, but I think they only go by last last week's sales.
The last
with
quarter
order.
sales on something. Pretty much most places that do their pre-orders on a product will usually, especially large major corporations, they deal with the product that they're going to be ordering for based off of that quarter and what they made the previous quarter. So like if they didn't make money off of it, they're probably not going to come back. If that item ended up on a clearance shelf, that item's not coming back. Or at least not in as large numbers as they had made in the previous order. But that is just a business decision for a retail environment. That is every retail environment does. Now, the thought process of resales, on the other hand, if you have a product, I resell my comic books, but I turn around and resell what I want, and I to end up filling holes in my library somewhere else. So I'll do the resale just enough. Okay, I need to sell this. I want to fill this hole. I have triplicate of this particular comic book. Don't need it. And I need this one. And what do you know? What I could sell this for, I can get this for.
Right.
Walmart does not stock Magic the Gathering cards. They do not stock none of their cards. They have somebody come from the outside, and Walmart just gives them a little section, and then they will fill that section up, whether it stays full or not. That's
so they got a vendor that comes in and
it's a vendor.
Yeah, and Walmart gets their portion, their percentage for letting them use the space. Yeah,
correct.
I see it all the time.
Walmart works a lot of vendors. In fact, most of Walmart's soda comes from vendors, not from Walmart itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
I know that. Been there, done that.
But vendors is different. Vendors that they work with a company. We were talking about the scalpers and the people who do resales. Now Walmart is not a reseller. And so it does not fall under the category of anything that we've been talking about. Walmart is an entity of its own that does straight out retail. No resales going on at Walmart.
Right. Well, to clarify something though, the vendors who stock Magic the Gathering sometimes resell things. They repackage them, sell them as something different, but they're like old stuff to get rid of old stuff. That's a different scenario, so that doesn't fall in the case of being a reseller. That's them just pushing product in a different way.
Right.
I know that happens, but I wouldn't know if it hit me in the head. If it was an old one repackaged or a brand new one repackaged. So, you have to be. You have to be kind of savvy about that, right? Or they can't duplicate the manufacturer's packaging, correct?
That's also something different.
Fox Enigma says, I didn't know that. The MTG stuff is always rated when I go to Walmart. Didn't realize they got products from FF before release. Oh, sometimes they do. Yeah. People are taking pictures of it. Vendors, they actually don't when they get the product, they're supposed to hold on to a release date, but there's actually no stopping them from doing certain things during a certain time frame. And to be clear, I don't know the full rulings or laws about that. I'm not going to lie to you and be like, this shouldn't happen. I don't know if they got a legality to start selling stuff a couple days before release.
Right.
I like to frequent one or two grocery stores here, and then Best Buy down the street, and all of them occasionally will have product stocked about a day before. Never 2 days before, but sometimes a day before. So like if release day is a Friday, you might get lucky and catch some on a Thursday.
Oh yeah. And I like to kind of attribute the idea of Magic products at Walmart and stuff like to your kids at home, right? If you make a good meal at home, the kids will eat it up. If they didn't really care for it, you got leftovers. And the same happens at Walmart. You know what people are not liking or not buying because it's still at Walmart. Everything else is gone.
Yep.
That happens a lot. like someone took a picture of a lowly pre-con at Walmart and says, well, I found the pre-con no one wanted.
Yeah, every time I go to my Walmart, I can go to the card section where they sell the Magic cards. Magic cards are wiped out. Pokemon cards are taking a big hit. So is Yu-Gi-Oh. But you take your sports cards, they're just there. They hardly ever see sports section wiped out.
Yeah. Well,
Agreed.
that's because the sports section is a completely different industry to step into.
Yeah, it's a different. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can't really attribute card games to the sports collection. In fact, for the people I know who are in sports card collecting, reprinting and everything is a different beast, a different animal. There's a lot of more skepticism in the community. There's a lot of product compared to Magic products and Yu-Gi-Oh products and Pokemon product. Like there's just a ton of it, and it's hard to get rid of because not everybody wants to collect a card game or a card series that you can't play and just put in boxes or put on shelves, which are those people in the market. Because my main LGS I attend right now sells a lot of sports cards, but when it comes to Walmart, it's a different industry altogether. Like card games sell because you got everybody interested in it. Completely different from sports card games, which I don't know who has interested in
sports cards. Also, here's the deal with sports cards, right? So, sports cards are a one-off collectible. They don't reprint it after the next year. They do a year's worth of print. So when you go and get your baseball cards and you get a 1998 set of Don Russ baseball cards, that 1998 set of Don Russ baseball cards was only printed in 1997 for 1998 release. Right. Now, that is the way that sports cards work. They're a trading card, not a trading card game. A game has to survive. They have to reprint. Where sports cards, the trading cards themselves, with collecting just sports cards, baseball cards. Now, if you see a reprint of a baseball card, it's usually done with a different border. It'll usually say classic. Somebody's like, oh, well, I got this thing of 1940s baseball players, and there's that Mickey Mantle in there, but it's a reprint because it says baseball classics. Like Topps does a baseball classics every year, but that's a one-off thing. Whenever they do sports cards for modern players, it's a one-off thing. Magic the Gathering and TCGs are a continuing living game that they have people that need to play on a regular basis. They need to get new players in. Of course, they're going to reprint those. And also the reason why you don't see baseball cards, football cards, basketball, or hockey is those are smaller niches in the long run. Look at the followings between hockey per team, let alone hockey all around. Now you go and get hockey cards. They're gonna that's gonna be seasonal, where most people are gonna be buying those cards out. Once that hits, they're done. The rest of it's for the kids, the children, the 13 plus. It's on the package.
Mm-hmm. Kane Checker says if items collectibles are selling at inflated prices, isn't that because buyers are willing to pay the price? If people are willing to pay the price, that is a true fact.
That's only worth what people are willing to pay for it.
Right. I mean, that's why I don't have FOMO with a lot of things, because if I'm like Final Fantasy is not my shindig. There's a couple cards in the set that I want, but not enough to warrant buying a pack, and I'm not trying to buy into it for monetary value. So, if people are willing to pay like 50% over the MSRP, that's their prerogative to do so.
Right.
And Fernandez says, basic economics, demand drives prices up. Does happen. We also got Lulu in chat.
Lulu.
Who keeps changing their avatar. That's funny. But hey, don't take my word for it, right?
We won't.
You won't. But one of the things that sets up the reselling industry, which is the fact that people are buying it, don't even think about fresh product, right? Clear your mind of fresh product. Fresh product gone, right? You're out of fresh product. Now you got old product. Old product drives up a good price because it's old product. No longer in date, no longer in print. Now you can account for reprints. You can count for other things. But for instance, Cane Shaker and I had a trade deal for an old Four Kingdoms or whatever it was called. The set that overwhelming forces would print from Portal Four Kingdoms. Yeah, it was a booster box from a long time ago. Not a booster box, but a dual deck thing that he really wanted, worth like $150. You know, stuff like that demands prices because now that's actually a part of history. So reselling that, trading that was a different story. I got some cool old product from it. He got cool product from it, but if we sold it, got the money we wanted out of it, someone would have bought that. Reselling in that vein is a different story because older products hard to attain, so it'll demand a price that's a little more than what it used to be. Because this product used to be like probably was like $10-15 back in the day, but now it calls for like $150 because it's a very unique item. And people do that with booster boxes. Like booster boxes, people buy booster boxes. We know a few channels out there that buy booster boxes. Don't open them and just save them to flip later, because it's a part of history. Well, sentimental value in history does change prices and inflate prices. And things like Final Fantasy, which is a fresh product, is a big IP that's kind of showing the changing of history right now. Because Final Fantasy is the most sold set in Magic the Gathering history as of date, which is insane. The prices has been calling for.
I believe the most sold set was Lord of the Rings, but I believe that Final Fantasy has outsold Lord of the Rings, from my understanding.
Yes, it did. Any set, name set, Alpha, Beta, Ravnica, Innistrad, right? It outperformed every set to date.
That's because Final Fantasy people are willing to spend their money. And while they are not exactly the largest community, they are one of the biggest fan communities when it comes down to spending money. Go to a video game convention and just see what people are willing to spend on a 2-inch plastic figurine.
Right. We talked about that. $200.
$200 for a plastic 3-inch figurine, not even numbered, and they're still willing to pay $200 for it. And now I used to do tabletop gaming, and I'm sorry, but I wouldn't even spend $10 on a pewter figurine that I'd sit and paint.
Well, that clarifies your interest in it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that clarifies my interest in what I'm willing to spend.
Right.
Not in the product. It's what I'm willing to spend.
Because in my case, I don't have it in here, but I have a couple, not pewter, but those resin figures that I would spend like $10 on. To me, they're worth it, And from what you're saying, people who are worth into the Final Fantasy think it's worth it to get into this game or buy the product. They don't even get in the game. So that makes sense.
They do. It does. Right. They will be willing to spend bank, and it's the fans of a community who decide the prices by when speaking about retailers, scalpers, or anywhere in the retail industry whatsoever, in the scalpers that we're referring to, particularly when dealing with the retail industry, the fan is who jurisdicts the price. If you're willing to pay for it, I'm willing to raise my price because you were just willing to pay for it. And that is capitalism at its best. If I'm going to charge until you're not willing to pay for it. And if you keep buying it, I'll keep raising my price.
I mean, people are willing to spend $10 on dice like this, $16 on dice like this. You're clearly what you have interest in will defies what you're willing to get into. It will supplement your interest in hobby. And not only does Final Fantasy hit multiple generations, multiple fandom levels, it hits a larger audience because you got kids under 13 playing the game. You got kids over 20 playing the game, and you got adults who are in their 40s playing the game still as the franchise continues. I mean, look at me. I'm a sucker for Jurassic World. I keep buying into their stuff, but Like the thing that kind of separates me is like unless it's an old item, like I try to get my stuff brand new from a store if possible, or from a trusted website. Not saying resellers are not trusting. I'm just talking the title trusted website, and I try to get it from there. But like my Beast Wars Transformers, those are older items. I love those, and I bought those from resellers who own stores. Yes, resellers do own stores. There's people on eBay, Macari, who are probably the same people. There's people who sell on multiple platforms.
You don't have to have a physical stick and mortar location in order to have a store. I have a store if you want to think about it. That doesn't really define other than you just have this, and it also doesn't define whether or not you're legit. What defines whether or not any of this down the line is who's willing to buy.
Like
it doesn't matter anything else. That's
what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at is like if you're willing to buy it, you'll buy it from that reseller, right? Like I said, the stores online, like eBay, Macari, that is all that. That is all that in a bag of chips.
I've been watching this Final Fantasy thing, and with a lot of popcorn, and I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't matter what retailer. If you're willing to buy, you're going to buy it even from the most expensive retailers. I've been seeing these Final Fantasy things jacked up, triple the amount of what the cost of it was. Yes, I know people are going to say scalpers are doing it, but really, the regular people are still buying it. The fans are still buying it, and they're buying it from these so-called scalpers who aren't really scalpers. They're just resellers that sell smarter than the other resellers. It's smarter. If they're making more money than the regular resellers, and they're buying out the stock and they're selling it legally, then it's smart.
There's very little to illegally sell figurines, right? Or magic cards, right? There's nothing really there saying KJ can't go to Walmart, buy all the comic books that they're selling and flip them. There's no rules there, right?
So then therefore there is truly no real scalpers in that industry.
Right. That's where scalping and reselling have an issue, right? Because there's a very thin line that changes it.
Well, I see that thin line only in the legal sense, and as a person who dealt in live entertainment as a DJ, and also had dealt with a lot of things that you had to deal with ticket sales, scalping in the long run goes down to the legal thin line of, are you interfering with somebody else's business on their property?
Right. And that's the legal thin line. And this episode's not about scalpers, like, per se, but yeah,
but you keep on bringing the word up,
right?
You keep on bringing the word up,
because we have to define it.
Well, it's defined legally if there's scalpers. So there's the legal definition is obstruction of the business, where these people who are buying everything else, they're actually helping these businesses by clearing their shelves out. There might be harming your pocket as a buyer, but you're still buying it. You're still buying it.
Still buying it for sure.
You're still buying it. So what does it matter how much it costs if you're still going to buy it? Well, I don't understand.
Well, the one saying there's a matter here.
What I'm not seeing the line is what I'm saying.
Well,
all right. When it comes down to I'm looking at this from a capitalistic point of view. Of course, I'm a capitalist, but you are the consumer. If you are still going to pay your money for it, I should raise my price double the amount. That's capitalism.
Well, right. And I have the right not to buy your double the amount.
But they still buy it. They still buy it. Watch the Final Fantasy thing. Look at this whole Final Fantasy thing. I've been watching this with a lot of popcorn, like I said, and they're still buying it. They're bitching about the double the price, triple the price, but they're still buying it. The Magic the Gathering community is still paying double and triple the price because they want the product so bad they can taste it, and they're not going to give in, and they're still buying it.
Really
quick. It doesn't matter how much the price is.
Wait. Really quick. If you're one of those people who have a problem with spending money, please take a moment to reflect that there's help that can be found out there. There are phone numbers you can call if you have gambling addictions to buying and selling. All right.
Those people don't care. They have gambling addictions. They don't care. They're addicted to it. They don't care.
You know, there's help out there. Like
Come on.
I want to remind you, there are bills, there are food, there are life things in order. Do not forget about that. As much as we're getting heated in this conversation. It ain't really heated, but it's a sparky conversation.
Let me laugh at the people who go homeless because they spend their money. Come on, let me laugh at them. Let me laugh and point and laugh.
But it's a serious issue that I want to bring up because, like, you know, I've talked about a couple of people who spent themselves out of ruination, you know, into ruination, I should say. One person in particular. We don't like seeing that. We want to remind you to have a very healthy thought process. Your life comes first. Your bills come first. Your needs come first more than this stuff. We want to make sure that's clear in this whole debacle. Because, yes, people are spending their money. Like, people are spending hardcore money on products that are not worth that much. You know, then they're worth that much in to some people. And there's just a lot of confusion in the market because, like, for example, we use KJ as an example, buying all the comic books at the store and reselling them. Like, there's no fine line. Well, I've seen people do yard sales on YouTube, and they bought up all the quote unquote product, like toys and stuff, in a market because they're in a competitive market. Because one thing we haven't touched on, which I tried touching on in the monologue, but I want to touch on here, is the resale market is a market in itself besides the buyer market, right? Like, for instance, if everybody here was selling collectibles, like if we're all selling Magic the Gathering product, like Hillbilly, Could You Dude, TC Dude, and KJ, we're all looking at the same websites and other places we can to find the product to flip, you know? That's another thing that drives up prices is the competitive nature of it, and we also keeps the prices at a tame rate because we're trying to outsell each other but make a profit. You know,
Well, yeah, just simply being in the space makes us in competition with each other, whether we realize it or not. You know, if you want a box that's at the LGS, well, there's other people in your town that probably want it too. And if you don't get there first, you know, you're SOL. That's why there's lines outside of GameStop and Best Buy, because there's demand.
Well, yeah, for reals. And you know what? Look, I applaud resellers for what they do because, you know, there's a lot of things out there that actually go under the radar. Some people don't notice because, like, you know, maybe KJ's life is too busy, right? This is example world, not reality, right? Well, like what I'm saying is, like, maybe his life is too busy. He's working his 9 to 5. He's just got a lot of chores. Taking care of his pets is too much.
How dare you accuse me of doing something with a W?
Right. But, like, maybe he doesn't know that Marvel comes out with a Magic the Gathering set he wants in on, and a reseller in his area, he's looking up online, pops up, says, "Hey, dude, I found some of this Marvel product that you want," and he's like, "I'm selling it for this much. It's usually costs this much. Are you wanting it?" And KJ might say yes. You know, that's the beauty of it. They bring up attention. Like when you're searching, searching online, you know, they pop up saying, "Hey, we got this product for you. We can guarantee it in your hands." Where at Walmart, you can't always guarantee it because people are buying it out. So there is a beautiful thing about resellers in the community.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and you know, the nice thing about reselling, you know, when it comes down to things, is like reselling is a way to get your money back.
Yeah, right.
You know, now, see, I think that there should be more resellers out there. To be honest, I think that there should be more of them out there. Like I know it's people who are in the reselling markets. Like, no. It's a competition. You know what? I'm not in competition with you. As a reseller, I'm not in competition with any of these other guys who are trying to sell their comic books or trying to sell their collectibles. And here's the reason why: I don't care about you. Right. I don't care about you as a competitor. you know, there are thousands and millions upon billions of people in this world who have collectibles, who buy collectibles, and who are willing to spend that money. Of these people, even though it might seem like a small niche, the smaller the niche, the more money they're going to spend. Look at Magic the Gathering, look at comic books, look at baseball cards. The people who are truly into it will be willing to spend their money. Now, I was picking at Tortoise earlier, and just to prove a point, but Tortoise actually said something that is a fact. I like the product. I'm willing to pay for it. Now, see, the people who like the product and are willing to pay for it are going to buy it anyway, and they deserve to buy that product. All right, if they can afford it. If you can't afford it, then the deserve is not there. Make yourself available to find it, or find it cheaper, you know, and then you deserve that product. Now, as a reseller and as a capitalist, personally, as a capitalist, I believe that if you're willing to spend that and you're willing to jump at it at that price as soon as it comes out, people were doubling the prices for Final Fantasy, even tripling the prices of the Final Fantasy product before they even got out of the queue. They haven't even finished the queue. They had the little walking guy, and they were already advertising their sales on eBay at triple the price, and people were still buying it at triple the price. Now that tells me that you're willing to buy triple the price. Doesn't matter what it is, without looking for a cheaper price, and you kind of deserve to get whatever price that I'm going to charge you, because you're going to pay for it.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it's triple or whatnot, and you want to call me a scalper afterwards.
Right. Like,
I'm doing it legally.
Like, that's the truth. Like, if it's legal, you're not doing it wrong.
So technically, I'm not a scalper. Even though you want to use the word scalper, because I'm tripling the price on something I bought with my own money.
Right. But the thing we defined earlier, though, is if you go out and buy all the products and no one else has it, so you're the only person to go for it. That's just called monopolizing. That's not called scalping. That's called monopolizing. Right.
Well,
that's not
laws
scalping
against monopolies.
Right.
There are laws against monopolies, but you can still have a monopoly and have a legal monopoly.
But with that, my friends, thinking about monopolizing and all that fun jazz, we at the point of the show where we go to the
hit that subscribe button. Become a part of the creep.
Too much to take. Show is lit. MTG3, are you game? Rise, creep, rise, building a following as we gain. Spitting fire like a dragon, no one can bring us down. MTG3 in the house, we own this town. Ripping through the beats with a fury.
All right. So to kind of sum up a lot of things we've talked about, like, for example, I've created this little hoopla in the Magic community about board wipes. Like, people complain about the board wipes I play in Magic, like how many I play Magic and whatnot. And people like it, like, you should run 5 to 6, or you should run 4 to 5. You know, you shouldn't run that amount. Well, there's no laws against how many board wipes I can run in a deck. There's no rules against it, so why not? You know, same theory, same idea. But
play to win, baby. Yes, that's right. You're right.
As long as the market is healthy and the economy is building up, you know, you shouldn't be fighting battles you're not into, right? Just buy what you want. It's as simple as that. And what you know what you should buy? You should buy the shill section of the day. For $19.99, you could definitely be part of TCG Dude's shill section.
How kind of you, sir. I appreciate that. I'll have to look into hiring you. Oh, goodness. No, it's been a while since I've been on the show, and I had time this morning, and Superfast was kind enough to platform me today, so happy to just talk Magic. And, you know, I think the takeaway that I'm going to try and have for today's lesson is to don't be afraid to supplement your hobby with reselling, right? Don't let somebody bully you into being told that you're scalping when you're just supplying or, you know, providing for your hobby. Right?
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, true fact. Most hobbyists buy multiples of what they want so they can resell it and supplement their income and make their money back.
Right.
You know,
And it's smart
yeah.
to do too. As a reseller, it's smart if you're doing it that way. And unfortunately, there are people in the communities, multiple communities, in collectibles in particular, that don't understand that. They don't understand more than their own wallet. And so it's like, I have to put out this much money for what I want. Really? I'm sorry, but I have a word for that, and I'm not allowed to use it on the stream anymore. I'm joking.
Speaking of words, I'll finish up my show. Thanks, Dan. But yeah, I'm on the interwebs. You can find me on various platforms at TCG Dude. On Twitch, it'll be at TCG Dude 907. Looking forward to streaming some Final Fantasy on my PS5. Recently got a Switch 2. Gonna see how that works out. But more importantly than video gaming, thanks, Hillbilly, is practicing some modern and standard. I'm going to be taking a trip this summer, and I'm going to be playing at LGS's that I've never been to before, and I got to put on for Alaska. So if anybody wants to jam some Arena or Magic Online with the format of modern or standard, hit me up.
Hell yeah, hit him up. And his link to his YouTube, I don't know if you need me to change that in the future, if you're going to be Twitch prominently or not. His link to YouTube is in the chat below.
Thanks, brother. That should be good for now.
All right. Cool. And with that, I want to let you know Cane Shaker is selling a great offer on multiple copy purchases of the Lotus Pedal. There you go. Whoop. And with that, we're going to go roll over to the head in a jar. KJ.
I don't really have much to show lately, so I want to make sure that you guys go and support TCG Dude, MTG Hillbilly, Superfast Tortoise, Jesse Hellwiller, all the other people that come on the show. As I had mentioned before, I'm looking at stepping away from the streaming industry. Please, if you guys are going to be around, just support the neighbors. I will be here, and I'll also be hanging out with Jesse on a regular basis still, but I'm backing away from my own product. So support the people here.
Hey, yeah, support the people here. And you know what? We want to continue to see KJ in our communities and support him as much as well. There's a lot in the background we can't discuss, but we love his positivity and his bluntness.
Bluntness. I love it.
Okay. Look, if I had an issue with it, you wouldn't be here.
No.
All right. But anyways, we're gonna roll off to Hillbilly.
Hey, everybody. Today at around 2 o'clock, I'm going to be doing another arena stream. Try to brew up a new deck to play for this afternoon. And that's all I got planned for today.
Nice. And yes, and with that, who wants to listen to some music? We got Could You Do for the song of the day?
Hey, everybody. It was a great show. I understood what you're talking about, but I had no interest in the subject, but I understand the main topic. Anyway, the song of the day is this is old media. This is an 8-track if anybody's never seen one. And the song of the day is The Magician's Birthday, because it's a magic and the magicians are magic. And it's always a magic day on this show. So thanks for having me today. I enjoyed it. Good seeing y'all. And I get on when I can again, and I have another song for you. So have a great day, everybody.
Whoop. No, let's roll over. She's super fast order. Said, hey, everybody, look, it's been an awesome episode. And yes, we are amazing people. We love each other. We are amazing. We hold strong. And I'll remind you, tonight, there's going to be a Bracket 2 commander game going on. I have a Bracket 2 dinosaur deck because I do have 3 decks for dinosaurs. But we're going to play Bracket 2 dinosaurs tonight. Bracket 2 because one of our friends, Tom, wants to play some Bracket 2.
All right, cool.
All right.
I got a 2 deck.
Whoop. And with that, today there was a picture of the day that we just never got to, but I thought it was fitting for today. It says, when you feel that you stand out in a coffee shop and like that of a different species, like sometimes you feel different. Sometimes that's how we are, how we feel, but just let you know you're part of the community, you're part of the creep. You're welcome here for your differences. Just keep it family friendly. All right. But anyways, with that, I want to tell people we're at 981 subscribers of right now. That's 19 subscribers to that 1,000 subscriber mark. 19.
Ooh, I ain't even got that wig yet.
Yep. Look, we got a special giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. If we get there, we're going to be giving away a commander deck in a deck box with custom Tortoise sleeves and a custom Tortoise playmat. And depending who wins, you might get a custom mug. Wow. With it.
Oh.
What? Nuts.
What?
It's going to be awesome.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Yes, that's crazy. And it's one of my favorite kind of decks. Rafika's mini deck. It's a bracket 2 deck, and we'll have fun with it. Give it away when we get there. Plus, end of June, might be in July. Depending on how things go, we're going to be doing a giveaway that time. We're going to do some customizations and put together a members-only giveaway at that time.
Cool.
But yeah, all you have to win the deck, playmat and everything, you just have to be a subscriber.
Ooh.
So, hey, be awesome, be amazing. I want to thank everybody for being here and everybody for chilling out. Hillbilly, Could You Dude, TC Dude, KJ, Cowboy Dan, you make the show rock, you make it rule. Thank you for hanging out. Everybody in chat, thank you. You rock, you rule. You helped us get there. And I got a cat on back my chair now. I remind you that you're amazing. Yes, be awesome, be cool. Remember, all together, you are loved. Someone's thinking about you. And if you can, say something and do something positive for someone today, because you might be the reason they get through the day with a good attitude. And with that, my friends, let's roll out to a sweet outro, thanking our channel members and subscribers right here.
Start the morning with coffee in your cup. Time to hang out with friends and chat it up. Bring a smile and good luck. Hit that like button and let's chat it up. Good times start with us, you and me. Good morning, welcome to